Let us pray. Almighty God, in your wisdom and goodness, have appointed the offices of leaders and legislative assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to behold with abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Could you call for me? There are some honorable members who are just outside there. Get them for me, please. The honorable members who are outside there, I think I've seen Chair Budget and a few others there. Can you tell them to get in? We start, please. Pardon? Let's get everybody inside here. I don't want anybody in the tent. Let's get all honorable members inside the chamber, please. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Proceed.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Proceed.
Order number 3, messages.
Proceed.
Order number 4, petitions.
Proceed.
Order number 5, papers.
Honorable members, under this order number, we have one paper to be laid on behalf of Honorable Francis Kalumu, the Chairperson, Committee on Labor, ICT and Public Service, by Honorable Thomas Mutinda. Honorable Thomas Mutinda.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Thomas Mutinda, on the brief for Honorable Francis Kalomu, the Chairperson, Committee on Labor, ICT and Public Services. Honorable Speaker, I wish to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 11th August 2021. Report on of the Labor, ICT and Public Service Committee on annual accomplishments of the Machakos County Public Service Board in the calendar year 2020. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Thomas Mutinda. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Again, honorable members, under this order number, we have one business to be transacted by Honorable Thomas Mutinda.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Again, my name is Honorable Thomas Mutinda. Audit brief for Honorable Francis Kalomu, Chairperson, Committee on Labor, ICT and Public Services. Honorable Speaker, that aware that the County Assembly oversight function is one of the cornerstones of democracy, aware that oversight is a means for holding the county executive accountable for its actions and for ensuring that it it complements policies in accordance with the laws and budget passed by the County Assembly. Honorable Speaker, acknowledging that Article 183, Sub-Article 3 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides that the County Executive Committee shall provide the County Assembly with full and regular reports on matters relating to the county. Further, aware that Article 185, Sub-Article 3 states that the County Assembly, while respecting the principle of separation of powers, may exercise oversight over the County Executive Committee and any other county executive organs. Honorable Speaker, cognizant of the fact that Standing Order Number 190, Suborder 5B, mandates sectoral committees to study the program and the policy objectives of the departments and the effectiveness of the implementation, aware that the Committee on Labor, Public Service, and ICT is mandated to oversee all matters relating to labor, trade union relations, manpower, or human resources planning, information, communication, and technology. The committee received an annual report 2020 from the County Public Service Board for the year 2020, engaged the chair, County Public Service Board, and compiled a report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of motion that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of the Labor, ICT, and Public Service Committee on the annual accomplishments of the Machakos County Public Service Board in the calendar year 2020. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Thomas Mutinda. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 7, statements.
Proceed.
Order number 8, motion, approval of report of the Broadcasting and Library Services Committee on the Assembly Broadcasting Policy.
Honorable members, under this order number, we have one business to be transacted by Honorable Jacinta Luka on behalf of the Vice Chair, on behalf of the Vice Chair, Committee on Broadcasting and Library Services, Honorable Abdurrahman Ali, and you may read it from where you are. I think it is okay. Go ahead and process it from there.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I am Honorable Jacinta Luka, nominated by Wiper Party to represent persons with disability. The report of Broadcasting and Library Services Committee.
Just hold on, you'll be guided by the clerk.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that aware that the Article 10 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides that the national values and principles of governance bind all state organs, officers, and persons when interpreting the Constitution and when making or implementing public policy decisions. These values include rule of law, participation of the people, and transparency. Honorable Speaker, acknowledging that Article 35 of the same Constitution recognizes that every citizen has the right of access to information which is held by the state or other person which is further affected by the Access to Information Act number 31 of 2016. Aware that Standing Order number 215.3a of the Machakos County Assembly Standing Order mandates the Committee on Broadcasting and Library Services to consider and report on all matters relating to broadcasting and of assembly proceedings. Those includes reporting on rules, policies, and procedures, and any other matters relating to broadcasting in plenary, committees, and events. Honorable Speaker, cognizant of the fact that the said committee considered the Assembly broadcasting policy, which provides guidelines on how the Assembly proceedings shall be legislated, both internally and externally. This is in accordance with the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Government Act 2012, Access to Information Act 2016, and the Fair and Administrative Action Act, the County Assembly Standing Orders, Speaker's Rules, and other written laws. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that this Honorable House discusses and approves the Broadcasting and Library Services Committee report on the Assembly broadcasting policy. Madam Honorable Speaker, I wish to call Honorable Nyawira to second.
Honorable Nyawira.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Jen Nyawira, nominated by Mugano Party. I start to second the motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nyawira. Honorable Jacinta, you may now read the report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. 1.0, we have the preamble. 1.1, background. 1.2, we have the committee mandate.
You may start with 1.3.
Then we have 1.3, committee membership, where we have Honorable Francis Mwangangi, chairperson, Honorable Abrahaman Ali, Vice Chair, Honorable Eric Musembi, member, Honorable Cosmas Kieti, member, and Honorable Jacinda Luka, member. 1.0, terms and reference.
2.0.
2.0, terms and reference. Honorable Speaker, the committee undertook to come up with a broadcasting policy because of the following gaps identified during broadcast of plenary and committee proceedings. Unregulated coverage of proceedings by media personnel. For example, it was noted that due to lack of proper legislation, the media was taking photographs and footage that is likely to cause embarrassment to members of the County Assembly. Number 2, furthermore, it was noted that the media personnel and members of the public were likely to infringe on the rights of the members without the members' knowledge. Therefore, this policy will serve as a guide to members on their rights when it comes to broadcasting of their activities within the prince of the Assembly. Number 3, the need to create greater public awareness and appreciation of the work of Parliament and enhance better public attitude and perception towards the County Assembly. Number 4, the members did not understand the types of shots which should be taken inside their chamber. Hence, the need to sensitize them. For instance, it is against the policy for media personalities to take close-up shoots of documents being used by members or written during debates or investigations. Number 5, there was no clear structure for the honorable members, staff, the public, and the media on the procedure to be followed when one needs to access footage or broadcast the proceedings on the House and the committees. 3.0 Legal framework. Article 10 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides that the national values and principles of governance bind all state organs, officers, and persons when interpreting the Constitution and when making or implementing public policy decisions. These values include rule of law, participation of the people, and transparency. Honorable Speaker, Article 35 of the same Constitution recognizes that every citizen has the right of access to information, which is held by the state or another person which is further affected by the Access to Information Act number 31 of 2016. Honorable Speaker, Article 196(1) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 stipulates that a county assembly shall a. Conduct its business in an open manner and hold its sittings and those of its committees in public. B. Facilitate public participation and involvement in the legislative and other business of the Assembly and its committees. 2. A county assembly may not exclude the public or any media from any sitting unless in exceptional circumstances the Speaker has determined that there are justifiable reasons for doing so. Section 87A of Constitution of County Governments Act 2012 states that one of the principles of citizen participation in counties is timely access to information, data, documents, and other information relevant or related to policy formulation and implementation. Honorable Speaker, this policy thus provides guidelines on how the Assembly proceedings shall be regulated both internally and externally in accordance with the Constitution of Kenya 2010, County Government Act 2012, Access to Information Act 2016, and the Fair Administration and Administrative Action Act, the County Assembly Standing Orders, Speakers' Laws, and other written laws. This policy provides clear guidelines on how the Assembly proceedings are to be broadcast both in the committees and in the House. Further, it also provides for procedure to be used where strangers violate and infringe the provision of the policy. 4.0 The MACHAKOS Broadcasting Policy. Honorable Speaker, the policy contains the following. Number 1, the guidelines to be followed by the Assembly Broadcasting Unit when broadcasting the committee and plenary proceedings. Number 2, principles relating to broadcasting of proceedings. Number 3, conditions for approval of media-related activities. 4, media coverage of the committee and assembly proceedings. Number 5, editing and broadcasting of the proceedings. Number 6, monitoring and archiving, as well as the procedure to be followed in cases of non-compliance with the policy. 4.1 Introduction. Honorable Speaker, telecasting and broadcasting assembly proceedings not only gives first-hand political education to constituents, it also provides them with an opportunity of seeing for themselves the role being played by their elected representatives in ventilating their grievances. The broadcasting policy is thereby devised to ensure that the House retains control over all it is portrayed on television and publicly by providing essential guidelines for audio-visual direction of its plenary and committee proceedings. Honorable Speaker, while the media is a core partner of the Assembly, it should practice responsible reporting of issues, upholding the dignity of the House and members at all times as envisioned in Article 28 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. 4.2 Objectives of the broadcasting policy. Honorable Speaker, the objective of this policy is to promote the delivery of quality and efficient broadcasting of the County Assembly of Machakos proceedings, committee work, video documentation, and archiving of the generated content. This policy seeks to establish a framework that shall offer guidance to the County Assembly Service Board, the County Assembly, and the public so as to promote diversity, good governance, human rights, and democracy. 4.3 Rationale for the policy. Honorable Speaker, this policy provides a framework for filming activities within the Assembly and its principles, and it's underpinned by the following principles: A. Openness and accessibility of the House. B. Facilitation of fair and accurate reporting by the media of Assembly proceedings, and non-interference with the operations of the House or the ability of the Speaker, members, and other authorized persons to fulfill their duties. This policy applies to all authorized persons and visitors to the Assembly precincts. 4.4 Rules and responsibilities. Honorable Speaker, the broadcasting policy bestows the various roles and responsibility to different officers bearers. A. The Speaker is responsible for the control and management of the Assembly chamber and all other areas of the Assembly. B. The Clerk is responsible for administration of the policy. C. The broadcasting unit, with the assistance of the Sergeant-at-Arms office, shall implement the policy. D. Members and staff of the Assembly are responsible for ensuring that persons signed in to the County Assembly are aware of comply with the policy. E. Compliance with this policy is a licensed condition for all accredited media personnel who conduct activities within the County Assembly. F. Compliance with this policy is a condition of entry for all visitors to the County Assembly. .5 Coverage of County Assembly committees. Honorable Speaker, broadcasting of proceedings of committees is subject to resolutions of the House. External media access will require the content of the relevant committee and compliance with conditions set out in the policy. 4.6 Non-compliance. Honorable Speaker, on matters dealing with powers and privilege of County Assembly staff and any other admitted into premises of the Assembly, this policy relies on laws and legislation that govern it. This includes the Constitution of Kenya, the County the County Government Act, County Assembly's Powers and Privilege Act, Fair and Administrative Act, Machakos County Assembly Standing Orders, and Speaker's Rules. Breach of the laws and legislation on matters relating to broadcasting of assembly proceedings shall be dealt with in accordance with the relevant laws and regulations. 5.0 Committee Recommendation. Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that in addition to the annexed policy, the following recommendations be approved. Number 1, the members resolved that all interviews for members should be done with the approval of the Honorable Speaker to prevent unauthorized media personnel from giving wrong information. Number 2, members of the press should provide their accreditation to the Assembly through the media house they represent to avoid cases of fake or rogue journalists engaging in unprofessional conduct within the Assembly precincts. Number 3, a clear structure should be set on the procedure of accessing information. Number 4, members should be sensitized on how to handle themselves in the chamber to avoid embarrassment. Number 5, the process of leaving screen. I repeat, number 5, the process of live streaming and broadcasting of the assembly proceedings should be fast-tracked for ease access of the assembly proceedings both internally and externally. 6.0 Conclusion and Acknowledgement. Honorable Speaker, the approval of this policy will give the Assembly a legal framework on conduct of members of the County Assembly, media personnel, the members of public and the County Assembly staff during broadcast of the proceedings of the House and the committees of the County Assembly. Honorable Speaker, I wish to acknowledge all the parties that participated in the formulation of this policy and completion of this report. I therefore wish to present this report on behalf of the Committee on Broadcasting and Library Services to this Honorable House for approval. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Jacinta Luca, for that report, very ably read. I now propose the question that this House discusses and approves the Broadcasting and Library Services Committee report on the Assembly Broadcasting Policy. Honorable members, you may comment or discuss on the report. Honorable Thomas Mutinda.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Thomas Mutinda, representing Wamonyo Ward. Mr. Speaker, I stand to support the report and thank the Chair in absentia and the committee for the good job done, Mr. Speaker. And I really appreciate that this committee is doing a very good job. Mr. Speaker, remember we have this Bunga Mashinane, which we have started through the efforts of this committee, and they are showing cause what the County Assembly is able to do for its people. So I think with this report and supporting this House to approve this report, Mr. Speaker, will go a long way to having our people know what we are doing here. Mr. Speaker, it's worth also noting that this time around, I think we have even televisions which are around this town. And I think it's the high time, Mr. Speaker, we have our proceedings covered live so that our people can see what we are doing. Actually, I want to appreciate the House, the Speaker and the Honorable House for the efforts so far achieved, because now you can get the County Assembly on YouTube, and that means everybody in the world can see what we are doing. And that goes a long way to even attracting donors, those people who would wish to help us in one way or the other in service delivery. So I think now that everybody is able to see us in the whole world, and at our people down there, they should be able also to see us through the local TV channels and radio stations, so that we may be able to showcase what we do here and why we are here. Mr. Speaker, I think our people so far have not even realized or recognized what we do. Sometimes when they see His Excellency in the TV and give you a waiver, they see, yes, very good thing has been done. But they are not aware that those processes have passed through this House. So, Mr. Speaker, most of what reflects to the people from the executive side is actually the result or the end result of the processes which have passed through this House. So it's through this broadcasting, we are able to show what we do, we are able to show what we stand for as pertains to this county and actually the region as a whole. So, Mr. Speaker, I support and say that it's important that even the employees who we have here should be able to say what we do, because we are running together with them, so that we don't have information known worldwide, information known all over the county, and even the staff here might not be aware of what we do. So it's important that everybody is on board and the information and whatever we do is known, and we will be able to move at the same pace. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Thank you, and I do support.
Thank you. Honorable Angela Munyasia.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to thank Honorable Jacinta for a very well presented document and articulately put. Honorable Speaker, I would like to appreciate the fact that the committee has captured a lot of information that honorable members may not be aware of. We have seen even in international parliaments and houses where members are caught unawares, resting their eyes or engaging in matters that are not appropriate in the House. So, Honorable Speaker, it is in order that this broadcasting committee has taken the initiative of going through those issues and informing members accordingly. Honorable Speaker, security is also not left behind, because we realize that people coming in, you might just find somebody with a camera and you don't know where they are from, and they are entering the assembly precincts. So it is very, very well captured here that members of the press should identify themselves when they come into the assembly precincts, and they should also be identified with the institutions that they work for. That will avoid people who are not authorized to enter the assembly precincts, and it will protect both the House and the members of the assembly. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Angela. Honorable Moffat Maida.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to commend the committee for a job well done. Two, I want to thank Honorable Jacinta for elaborating and reading this committee's report very ably. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that it is very important for any institution to have policy in hand. And this is so by this broadcasting unit of the Assembly. Without policies, anything can go wrong. Like if, for example, as you have said, those reporters, many of them might be bogus. Some bogus reporters can come here, and without the authority of the Speaker, anything bad can be said about this assembly. So I support that when interviews are being done, let them get consent from the speaker, from the speaker. I too wish to request that we have live broadcasts so that our people down there can see what the honorable members are doing. In fact, when it is live, many of us here will wake up and speak because they will be ashamed not to be seen by the electorates adulating issues here in the floor of the House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Thank you, Honorable Moffat Maida. Honorable Irene Bivia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Irene Bivia, elected by Jubilee Party. Honorable Maida is a bit funny when he says that some of us will be ashamed, so we have to talk anyway, on a light note. So I commend Mheshimiwa Jacinta for the elaborate report that she's brought in this House. Indeed, we support that Broadcasting and Library Services Committee should have a policy guiding it in its matters, because without policies, it's very easy to abuse or take advantage of the digital world that we're in right now, because with access of internet, you can access any information, but we need guidelines to put boundaries on how far we can get and what information should be sent out on air, so that the assembly and the matters that go out are protected. And I support Honorable Maida's comment that we need to be on air almost everywhere within our county. We can have TV sets or the advertisements that are usually on the spaces, either in the markets or where it's possible to advertise, that we can run through our scripts so that our people may know what we usually do in the principles of the assembly. With those few remarks, I wish to support the report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Molu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'd like to echo the effort of the Committee on Broadcasting through the leadership of its chair, Madam Speaker. First, the notion that the members are not attending the Assembly proceedings is out now that we are being live streamed. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, members now know the right procedure, the right channels being followed when broadcasting the footages in the assembly proceedings. And also the members are aware of the shots being taken by the media personality. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. With that, I support the report.
Thank you. Thank you very much. May the mover of the motion respond, please?
Report to be implemented because it's the matter of policies and responsibilities to the assembly. And I want to answer Honorable Maida that we are live in YouTube and the assembly is trying still to be more live in other areas, and we are planning to have a screen in MACHAKOS bus park and in other areas where necessary. So we are working on that, and I think with no time everything will be in order. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jacinta Luka. I now put the question that this House discusses and approves the Broadcasting and Library Services Committee report on the Assembly Broadcasting Policy. As many opinion say ayes. As many as the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, now that you've adopted, I just want to make a comment. First of all, to thank the honorable member and the committee for this policy. When you look at that document, attached to it is the actual policy document. And I would request honorable members to be able to go through it. If you look, you'll find on the website, you'll find it has been posted, the Assembly Broadcasting Policy. This report summarizes the policy, and you should be able to go through the policy, which is there which has been posted on our website, for you to be able to familiarize yourself with what are the requirements in as far as broadcasting is concerned. The issue on identification of members of the press, key, especially during where we are heading to now. You know you are heading towards elections. The only needs to get your opponent to come, to bring somebody here with a camera. They sit there and they wait until you are resting your eyes, and they take your photo, and they go circulate it, you know where. And then just for character assassination. So it is good that they will need to be identified before they can be allowed into the premises, so that we know it's only the official press members who are allowed to come in. Through the online YouTube, which we are doing, and I also appreciate Honorable Jacinda Luka for highlighting that it is the intention of the Broadcasting Committee to put up a billboard, a huge billboard, which will be transmitting live at MACHAKOS Bus Park and also at the marketplace. If that is done, it will go a long way in ensuring that civic education is done to our people on the roles and responsibilities of this august House. It is important for them to understand, because you will find that, like Honorable Thomas Mutinda mentioned, if the governor goes and says he has given a waiver and he stops there, the people don't understand that that waiver is actually being given by the honorable members of this House, because this is the only legally allowed organ which can be able to give waivers for tax waivers, and that the governor cannot, as a governor, give tax waivers. But the August House here is able to give tax waivers. But when he goes outside there and says, I've given a waiver, now, unless there is civic education being done to know that it is the people's representatives who are giving that waiver, then our people might not be aware of that, and that leads to misinformation and lack of proper recognition on the roles and responsibilities of members of this honorable House. So I congratulate the committee and the chair, who is our honorable Speaker of the House, Honorable Florence Mwangangi, for the good job they have done in ensuring that this report and this policy is presented before the House. With that, honorable members, the House is adjourned to resume on Wednesday, the 11th day of August, 2021 at 2:30 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your morning.